Happy Thursday, Cherokee. We are back here in the Emergency Operations Center, having just finished our second weather briefing with the National Weather Service. Just a little bit ago, this room, again, just like yesterday, was packed with people from city and county departments talking about what our preparations are in the coming days for this weekend's expected winter weather. Back with me is EMA Director Daniel Westbrook, and tell us a little bit about what they said during the briefing today and our expected forecast through the weekend.
So with this updated briefing, we've got a little more clarity about what the expected impacts are. So they're expecting up to or greater than 1/4 inch of ice, possibly up to 1/2 inch of ice or more, depending on how the forecast falls out. But we're expecting kind of that 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of ice accumulations, mainly in the form of freezing rain throughout Cherokee County, which would greatly impact travel, could impact trees as well, making them to fall, power outages. So it's beginning, the event's becoming a little more into focus, and it's also getting a little more seriousness to it.
So you said 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of ice. Impact-wise, that could be a major difference. So tell us the difference of what we could be facing with 1/4 inch of ice versus 1/2 inch.
So with 1/4 inch of ice, you're starting to get into road impacts. That will get on roadways. You're going to see travel limitations, and you're also going to see that start to accumulate in trees. Once you get up to 1/2 inch of ice or greater, especially we're forecast to have 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts that occur, you will also see those trees become very laden with ice, start to lean over, causing them to snap and potentially impact power lines, fall in roadways, which will also impact travel as well.
We talked about preparedness tips yesterday. Obviously, don't touch a down power line. If you see a down power line, please make sure you leave it alone and call 911 to report it, and power crews and our public safety can handle that. What other type of preparedness tips can you give to our residents to help them get through this winter event?
So we want people to take this seriously. We want you to prepare your home, your family, even your vehicle. Make sure everything is taken care of with that. If you want to top off with gas, make sure it's ready to go. But your house, make sure it's winterized. Make sure you leave your faucets dripping. Even if you're home or if you go stay with a family member or a friend during this event, just make sure everything is taken care of. Anything your family will need that may be specialized for you, non-perishable foods, water, medications. Now is the time to really look at those things, get them taken care of today and tomorrow before the winter weather begins to impact us on Saturday, because once it starts, you may not be able to go anywhere.
And the bottom line, it's better to be prepared and not need it than not be prepared and really need it. One of the organizations in the EOC today was Fire and Emergency Services. I have with me now Battalion Chief Michael Sims, the PIO for Fire and Emergency Services. With the winter weather expected, people are obviously going to be looking to stay warm. Can you give us some tips on fire safety within the home, especially as it deals with alternate heat sources?
That's right. So with winter weather comes the chance of power outages. And when power outages happen, people look to other sources to keep themselves warm, to try to generate power in their homes, to enjoy some of the things that we normally do with electricity. So that's where we see generators come out. So with alternate heat sources, the biggest thing there that we want to urge people to do is to keep belongings at least 3 feet away from those. If you're using a space heater or something like that, we understand that you want to stay warm. What we don't want to do is cause a fire from one of those alternate heating sources igniting something.
One of the biggest things that people are encouraged to do is if they have a generator, make sure they have gas for it. There are some safety precautions that you need to take with a generator as well. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. So when using a generator, one of the biggest things you want to do is make sure that's well away from any openings in your home. What you don't want is the exhaust from that generator to get into your home and cause carbon monoxide poisoning to you and your family. With that, you always want to have a carbon monoxide detector that operates off of battery power inside your home when you're using a generator. That way you're going to know if carbon monoxide enters your home. You know, that gas is dangerous because it's colorless and odorless, and so it can cause a lot of harm to somebody. Also on generators, we want to make sure that we don't fuel those while they're running. So obviously you're going to have to add gas into the generator if you have an extended period of time without power. So you want to shut that down when you're refueling that, just to make sure that the fumes from that gasoline don't ignite.
So when we have briefings here in the Emergency Operations Center, we have people from across the county, known as emergency support functions. After the weather briefing, we all share what we're planning to do to make sure that needed services are covered throughout the winter weather response. Battalion Chief Sims, can you tell us what fire's response is looking like? Are you going to have chainsaw crews out there? You know, obviously emergencies still happen during winter weather events, so tell us what Fire and Emergency Services is doing.
So yes, with the winter weather coming, our crews are taking extra precautions to make sure that we have everything that we need to be prepared for this winter weather. In addition to our regular crews being out there on the fire trucks and ambulances, we're staffing up some additional utility trucks. That's a smaller, lighter duty pickup truck. It'll have chains on the tires. It'll have chainsaws in the truck with medical equipment, so they can help clear the roads and get to emergencies that our traditional fire apparatus may have difficulty getting to.
And Fire and Emergency Services isn't the only entity that's staffed and ready to go. Our city police departments and our sheriff's office shared their plans. Everybody's ready to go, along with Woodstock Fire. They're ready to go with their utility vehicles as well, so everybody can respond to the emergencies as necessary. One of the big things here is that your county officials, whether they're city or county, everybody's working together to ensure proper response and everybody stays safe. So we'll be here in the Emergency Operations Center when it activates, likely Saturday morning. We're still ironing out some timing here, but what you need to know is we will be communicating with you via the Rave Alert app. So make sure you go ahead and sign up for Rave Alert. You'll get the National Weather Service notifications, and if anything else critical comes across, we can push that to you as well. But also make sure you're following the Emergency Management Agency Facebook page. So you'll find it at Cherokee EMA. We'll be pushing all types of communication out to you that way. Please make sure you're signed up for Rave Alert, you're following that Facebook page, and in any event of an emergency, please make sure you call 911. Stay safe, Cherokee.